NCPB. We are talking about the 2018-2019 season in the Handball League in the country. Of course, we do have Jack Habert, Charles Omondi, Theodosia Sangora, Gladys Chilo, and Jerry Otuoma. We want to continue with the conversation from these two teams, how the league was and how they managed to win the league and also emerge the champions in Super Cup. But remember, later on in the show, we'll be crossing over to Jeff Mogire at the Camp Toyo grounds in Nairobi. He will be bringing us up to speed on what is happening in the Women's Premier League. Remember, it resumed yesterday. We had Mathare settling for a barren draw in a match that was played at the same venue, but we'll be crossing over there later, and we'll be taking a look also at the Africa Cup of Nations and the pre-season friendlies that are taking place. Remember, it's a packed world, rather packed day today in sports. The cricket final will be played today. Africa Cup of Nations semi-finals are taking place today. And the British Grand Prix also taking place today. And the Wimbledon final, Roger Federer versus Novak Djokovic. But I want us to get into the conversation on the National Handball League, the champions NCPB and Nairobi Water in the building, of course, in studio with me, Jack Habert, the coach for Nairobi Water, Charles Omondi, who's an official from the Kenya Handball Federation, Theodosia Sangora, who plays for NCPB, Gladys Chilo for Nairobi Water, and Jerry Otuoma for Nairobi Water. Of course, I want to continue this conversation with you, Jack, as the coach for Nairobi Water. Of course, you've told us how the season was for you, but as a coach, you know, how difficult is it to run that marathon of a league for, you know, almost eight months?
It is difficult. As Otuoma has put it,
yes,
there are some challenges, especially for the unemployed players. Getting resources to come to the training ground is quite a challenge. And for us as a team, for the last 2 years, we had no sponsor from the company, so it was a very big challenge. But I can say that now we are happy. The MD has a soft stand on his heart, and he has agreed to continue supporting us as a team. Yes.
And you know, when you take a look at your players, you know, you said that for 2 years you didn't have the right motivation that you needed. And when your players look at you and they're like, "Coach, hatuna motivation," you know, how do you manage to turn that you know, lack of motivation and make sure that the results are out there in the field for you?
I can say we are lucky that half the team is employed.
Yes.
So that catering for the rest of the players who are not employed, they're helping them in the fares from their places, I mean, to come to the training ground. So it's been challenging, but we are trying.
Theodosia, there are people that probably feel, you know, that handball in Kenya is just, you know, a pastime activity. What do you have to say? Like, it doesn't pay. It's not a sport that you can take seriously.
Okay, let me say that for us, handball is a semi-profession. But I believe it has, over the years, it has grown, and now it's being perceived to be one of the sports probably somebody can take, and also the help from different sponsors, that is NCPB, yes, and let me say Nairobi Water. It has actually helped in terms of growing the sport. Yeah.
Gladys, what can you say about the levels of handball in Kenya?
The level of handball in Kenya has grown. I can't compare it when I was joining the industry. For as much as we have few grounds, yes, I can say there are many players have come up. We have many players, especially men, who play pro,
yes,
huko majuu. Yeah, so basically that shows handball has grown.
What do you have to say about the ladies' side? You know, having to get more ladies to play the game.
Yes, we need more ladies. You get in high school, there are so many players, but come to the club level, the players aren't really turning up. I don't know what exactly happens after high school when it comes to handball. Yeah, there is a big gap,
yes,
especially in the ladies team. So I'd really encourage those ladies, especially in Western Nyanza, to come up. Don't just play and then finish high school, disappear. Come out, come play with us. And then I'd also like to encourage other companies to pick up this initiative, join NCPB, join Nairobi Water, to come up with ladies, not only ladies team, but also the men's team. Yes.
Jerry, what do you have to say about the levels of handball in Kenya?
Okay, maybe before I come to that, I would like to respond to the question you asked, Todosia.
Yes.
That people are complaining that handball is not...
It's a pastime.
It's a pastime.
Yes.
I think it all depends on how you look at it.
Yes.
Because I believe handball has changed lives in this country. I personally started playing handball in 2003. And even I met people who are playing handball, and I joined them in handball at the national level. And I started playing for the national team in 2009.
Yes.
So if handball hasn't transformed my life, then I think I'm the problem. Because as we speak, we have Strathmore giving out scholarships.
Yes.
We have Nairobi Water, as you've had, giving out employment. We have, colleagues that we played with at the junior levels, playing in clubs in Rwanda, others in Denmark. So these people who are saying that, it's a pastime.
Yeah.
I mean, people are living on handball, So I tend to disagree. Maybe they might have their reasons, which I also embrace, but I tend to disagree. I think handball has transformed lives, and some of us are living examples of, being transformed by handball. Now, come to your question about the standards of handball. I think I personally can measure the standards or the development of the game through the National League. We've seen players being transformed from primary, playing to the National League, in the National League, and subsequently in the national categories under 20, in the senior team. And regionally, the Kenyan teams and the Kenyan clubs are performing well, even in the East and Central Club Championships. At a national level, we're also, performing well vis-a-vis our counterparts in the continent. So I tend to believe that even the stiff competition within the league is an indicator that handball has grown. And I've also traveled around, and you go to places like Isiolo, you go to places like Busia, where I come from, and people are playing handball. So if that is not development, then I don't know what development means.
Facilities have been a major challenge in growing the game. Before Charles comments on that, what should be done?
I understand that facilities are resources. And in like all sectors and industries, resources are limited. So I want to congratulate maybe the government and the federation and the schools per se in the few structures or the few energies that they've put into trying to make the resources available. But I believe that companies and corporates should do more, because some of these things the government alone or the federation alone cannot do them. So we also need the private partnerships, you media, to come on board and help us to come up with some of these facilities. Because even coverage and exposure, like what you're doing, is a facility. So we just encourage you to do your part. Then I believe the federation will also do their part, and tutakuwa mahali ambapo tunastahili kuwa.
Charles, what do you have to say on that?
First of all, could be just to talk about the handball being a part-time or something like that. I'd say it also depends on your perception and your expectations. Like us, when we came to handball, we didn't even know that it's a serious sport. Me, I was a football player. I was a basketball player. Eventually, I found myself in handball. I just loved handball. So I was not coming expecting anything in handball. But compared to where we've come from, handball is no longer a part-time sport. Just the way Jerry has put it correctly, that now we have so many scholarships around. Secondary schools, universities, opportunities also are there for employment. Go to armed forces, they've taken it so seriously. And also, as you are talking now, the Kenya Police Service have already put up structures. They are starting a team because they are hosting their tournament. They are hosting for the region. So definitely that is one opportunity, and I know it will also open doors to people who are correctly positioned, or people who are doing the right thing. You see, complaining and doing nothing, sitting down does not help.
Yes.
Yeah, the few players who are there in the league, they'll tell you, they'll attest to this. When the league started recently, it wasn't as competitive as it is. And you can see now transfers are there, players being acquired by other clubs. So all these, when you look at them also, in a way or the other, there's some income that are coming in. When you look at our league too, the recently concluded Super Cup, we had a couple from Denmark, and they told me that they've been following our programs. And they made their visit to Kenya to coincide with the finals. They were there to watch the finals, to witness the finals, and they have promised to be back next year. We also have friends from the Japanese embassy. These gentlemen say that, okay, I've seen what people are doing. Let me donate balls that are going to be used during the finals. I believe those balls were different from the balls that we use. Those are special balls given to us from the Japanese embassy. When you look at all these, I think our sport has really grown. And recently I read in the papers that Kekoska, that is the Kenya, we call it Kenya municipalities or something like that, counties.
County games,
They've also allowed now handball into their sport without us even approaching them. We have not even made a request. And the reason they've given to why they've adopted to have handball is simply because it is gaining popularity among the youth. I was in Kajiado the other day, and when I talked to the sports director, he told me that if now we have handball being played in one part of Kajiado and probably have other sports, everybody will go to watch handball. So all these are indicators that we're on the right path. What we need is we need more people to come and support the sports. We have people like Nairobi Sports House. It's like they own the Super Cup. Whenever it approaches, they're the one who come to us and tell us, okay, Charles, we know the time has come. And they donate a lot of stuff. We have the sports station. They are there working with us. And the biggest of all also, you have the 1xBet. 1xBet has also made our league very, very popular too. We have people who come there, we call them investors. They just come there to bet. And so when you tell me that it's just a by the way sport, I think they might not be getting the right information, or they are not with us. Otherwise, all said and done, when it comes to facilities, it's a big challenge. And the other day I was saying that in other countries that I've visited, I've been to most of the African countries on handball matters. You realize that what the government does is they give the federation, like the Nyayo Stadium. I don't see the reason why the government should keep it to themselves. Other than employing people, give it to the federation so that we run it. That stadium or that court was meant for handball. It was built in 1986 during the All Africa Games. But for us to access even that kind of facility, it is so costly. We have the Kasarani Indo. We are proud that we have that kind of facility. But very few of our players have ever entered there. So when you go for indoor competition, even if when you are hosting, we don't have any advantage. So we are also praying to the government, make this stadium, the few that you have, let them be accessible. You go to Kasarani, you're told that for 1 hour you pay 50,000 shillings for the lights. It's not practicable. And you want to play the whole day. It's not possible. So one thing that we need to be addressed by the government is the issue of accessibility of these facilities. Allow the federation to access them. Once it's a national team, give it free to them. But now as a federation, we have to look for money to pay the government who is supposed to support us. I think that one, there's a disconnect between the role of the stadia and the federations. We need to work together and see how best our players can access these facilities. And thirdly, you've heard most of the counties talking about, we have built stadiums, we have built stadiums from every corner. None of them is talking about an indoor stadium. So they're not taking care of the indoor sports. And I think it is even cheaper, other than building one very big stadium. We'd rather have small indoor gyms whereby we can accommodate basketball, handball, volleyball. And by so doing, I believe we are going to have even better competitions. Yeah.
You spoke of, taking the game to the people. You say that you are in Eldoret and you've taken the game to other places. How effective has that been for you, in attracting more fans, to come and watch the game?
Yeah. At the moment, we would not say that has really had an impact. But what we are planning for this season, we are also talking to our branches, the clubs that are coming from those branches. We are expecting a club from Kisumu. We tell them, go to your governor, talk to the governor, let him come up with a small court, just like what our MP did in Kaloleni. Such a facility cannot even cost more than $1 million. So if we can have these kind of facilities where our clubs are coming, it's very easy for us to have this league to these places. It's not only league that we have in these places. We also have tournaments. We see with tournaments, you can play them under different kind of surfaces. But for the league, we want the competition to be the same. If we go to Isiolo, we expect some standards. We go to Kisumu, we expect some standards. And this is what is challenging us. And the idea, we also want to sell our players. I remember at some point when we travel to, let's say, like Kericho, you get the school teams. They also try to ape what these other senior players are doing. So that is the idea. I would say that going down to Mashinani, taking the league down there, it will also have some impact, but not at the moment. Yeah.
Jack, we're talking about Nairobi Water. Of course, we want to focus on your club and as the coach, recruitment. How's recruitment? How do you do your recruitment?
I can say due to the challenges we had for the last 2 years, we've not been in a position to recruit new players, because recruiting new players means we have to have resources to cater for them, maybe accommodation or jobs, kibarua, something like that. So it has been hard for us, but I'm glad the crop we had, we are using the crop we had to push on or to go to the next level. Yes.
Theodosia and Jerry for NCPB, how do you manage to handle the in a club, in a club setting, there are players that will eventually leave at the probably end of the season. How do you manage to handle the players that are coming in and the voids that have been left by those who leave? Terry rather. Yeah, Jerry.
Of course, it's succession, and just like life, you need to plan for your succession. Of course, we also, as our federation allows, we approach, and of course we have that in the management. We have the team managers and the coaches who go out to scout for new players at the high school level, at other club, at university level. So as the league nears the end, and some players have shown interest maybe in leaving. Of course, we immediately have replacements, because even as we train, we also have those tires. As much as we train together, we have those tires. We have those who have joined us recently and are also trying to be incorporated into the club. And as soon as one leaves, the other one, we already have a replacement for the same.
Theodosia, what do you have to say?
Maybe just to add on whatever sentiments he had, is that probably over the years we've been taking players from the institutions, that is the universities. But it has been quite a challenge, because now the universities offer scholarships to their players. So it means that we have to wait for them until they are through their scholarship whatever programs. And to add on to the fact that the league has been tight, it is because the institutions now have good players. They take players from the high school level. So when they offer scholarship, you end up getting that the good players have gone to the institution. So we have to work so hard, having the players we have, and you see there's that transition whereby there are players who normally leave, and then we get new players, but that has been the challenge, and you can actually witness it in the league, that the teams are probably at the same level. Yeah.
Gladys, of course, the league starts in the next 2 weeks. Everybody is coming for your title. What should we expect from Nairobi Water?
We're going to improve on our scores. The score difference is going to be higher this season. So those teams that think
you
they are
say
coming,
that with lots of conviction.
yes, because because I mean it.
Yes.
So all the other teams, all the ladies team that think they're coming to take our title, try next time, because this season is also ours,
Yes.
and we're coming so hard.
You are coming so hard. What do you have to say, Jack, on what do you have to add on that, on what she said?
I agree with her. Of course, defending is not easy, especially the KDF team. They think that they're going to give us a surprise or to make an history. I can say categorically here that next season I'll come here with the same trophies.
You are going to return here with the same trophies. The two, the Super Cup and the league title.
And the league title.
Theodosia, what do you have to say? You are the defending champions. Season starts in 2 weeks. What should the fans expect from you as a team?
I believe there are some measures we've taken.
Yes.
In signing around 3 players.
Yes.
Who are good from the institution, and we believe with the energy they have, and with the will that we have in the team at the moment, we are going to retain the trophies.
You are going to retain. Yes. 16 years in the game, Jerry Otoma, what should we expect from NCPB?
For those teams that lost against us, should not expect anything different. Maybe just the margin to go up.
The tradition is going to continue.
The tradition is just wembe ni ule ule. Maybe to our fans, we just promise them some classic handball, improved handball, served well chilled. So they should come in numbers.
Yes.
It's just funny that the fans are. It's really hard for fans to cross over. But of late, we've been seeing fans that used to support team A, B, C, D, now supporting NCPB. And we want to assure them that what we did in this season will be replicated in the next season. Just maybe the margins will be higher.
You are not expecting to go to the wire at the end of the season?
Not
to the final
really,
game.
not really. We hope that trend will end this season, because we've had those, going to the penalties with teams that, we respect them, yes. But the issue of going to penalties will end with this season. Next season is just ordinary time. Tumemalizana.
Charles, what should we expect as we go into the new season?
Yeah, the new season, I believe, is going to be very competitive. Given that also we are preparing teams, we continue doing our selections. We'll be going to Tunisia with the men's team for the Olympic qualifiers. We also expect to have our ladies team in Morocco for the African Games. And we have several other international engagements, meaning that the players must always give their 110%, meaning that the league is going to be very competitive. We expect new teams also.
Yes.
We have indications. We have a team from Kisumu. We have a team from Kajiado, another one from Murang'a, and Makueni, Mombasa. So I want to believe that the league is also growing. And also with the admission of handball into the Kikoska games, it means that each and every county is going to have a team. So we might now think of having various tiers in our league system. Otherwise, we promise our fans, we promise our potential sponsors that season 2019-2020 is going to be very, very enjoyable. Yes.
Before I let you leave, Jack, the regional games, that is the East African competitions, that is East and Central. What should we expect from you?
This season, it will be played in Kigali. our fans or the country at large
Yes.
should expect that we're going to defend the team as we did it in Zanzibar.
Jerry, what should we expect from NCPB regional games?
A win and nothing less than a win.
A win and nothing less than a win. Of course, thank you, gentlemen. That is Jack Habat, who's the coach for Nairobi Water, Charles Omondi, who's an official at the Kenya Handball Federation, Theodosa Sangira from NCPB, Gladys Chilo from Nairobi Water, and Jerry Otuoma from NCPB. Thank you for finding time to come to talk to us about how your season was. That is the 2018-2019 season, and what to expect going forward, moving into the new season that begins in 2 weeks' time. We take a short break. When we come back, we'll be crossing over to Jeff Mogira, who's at the Come to Your grounds here in Nairobi, and also we'll be getting to talk about the Africa Cup of Nations semi-finals today with the George Ajwala and Chris Sunday. They're in studio. They will be giving us insights on what to expect from the 4 teams that are remaining in the competition.